There is a quiet moment that arrives without warning, when everything around a person seems perfectly ordinary, yet something inside feels strangely smaller. The streets remain busy, conversations continue, and the world carries on with quiet confidence. Nothing dramatic has happened, but an invisible distance begins growing between the heart and everything it once understood. Watching others move forward so naturally, the character starts wondering whether they have somehow faded into the background. The world appears enormous, full of people who belong, while they quietly stand still, carrying a feeling nobody else can see or name yet. As the quiet feeling settles, the habit of looking outward grows almost unnoticed. Every familiar face seems to carry certainty, while the character carries questions. A promotion, a celebration, a smiling photograph quietly becomes another measure of what they believe they have failed to become. No one is comparing them, yet the mind gently builds its own silent scale. With each passing day, their own small victories lose their color, hidden beneath the brightness of distant lives. Without realizing it, they begin mistaking another person's visible chapter for the whole story, leaving their own worth quietly waiting beyond their notice. Although the character continues with daily responsibilities, they carry an invisible emotional burden. Smiles remain on the surface while exhaustion grows underneath. Others assume everything is fine because nothing appears broken. Each ordinary task is completed, yet every quiet evening feels heavier than the one before. The silence inside stretches farther than anyone can imagine. They begin believing that strength means hiding every uncertain feeling, even from themselves. Beneath calm routines, hope waits patiently, almost forgotten, like a small light covered by years of quiet doubt, still present despite everything they have carried alone for so long, unseen by all. A quiet memory begins to return after so much silent carrying. It does not arrive with perfect clarity, only with the gentle feeling that there was once a version of the character who laughed without measuring every step. Dreams felt simple because they belonged to tomorrow, not to comparison. Remembering that younger hope does not erase today's uncertainty, but it softly reveals that something precious was never completely lost. Beneath the layers of disappointment still lives the quiet ability to believe again, even if only for a single peaceful moment before doubt returns once more beside the waiting heart quietly. Those memories quietly linger, making the present feel even more complicated. The character begins noticing how often they searched for proof that they mattered. Success promised comfort, praise offered brief warmth, and reaching another goal seemed enough for a little while. Yet each feeling faded almost as quickly as it arrived, leaving the same quiet emptiness behind. Without meaning to, they had placed their heart in the hands of changing moments that could never stay. The world kept offering reasons to achieve more, while their spirit kept asking for something gentler, something that did not disappear whenever applause faded or silence returned again. As that quiet realization settles, another thought begins to emerge. Perhaps the world had never been watching as closely as they believed. The harsh voice repeating every mistake sounded familiar because it had slowly become their own. Crowded places still looked the same, and other lives continued moving forward, yet something inside became a little quieter. The endless race that once seemed impossible to escape no longer felt entirely real. For the first time in a long while, the character wondered if they had been carrying invisible expectations that nobody else had ever asked them to hold, leaving their heart tired long before the journey truly ended.
That gentle question remains, opening space for memories once dismissed as failure. Looking back, the character notices that the hardest seasons were never completely empty. While visible success seemed absent, quieter changes had been taking root beneath the surface. Patience had grown through waiting. Compassion had deepened through disappointment. Resilience had formed each time they chose to continue despite uncertainty. None of these changes earned applause, yet each became part of the person they were slowly becoming. What once appeared to be lost time now carries a different feeling, revealing that unseen growth often happens where the world notices least, quietly preparing hearts before brighter days finally arrive. From that quieter understanding, the character begins noticing what had never truly left. Morning light still finds its way through familiar windows. A gentle breeze still pauses between busy moments. A kind smile from a stranger, the comfort of familiar voices, and the simple act of continuing quietly through another day begin carrying unexpected meaning. These moments once seemed too ordinary to matter, yet together they form something steady and real. The world no longer feels valuable only because of extraordinary achievements. Hidden worth begins revealing itself inside ordinary life, waiting patiently where it had always been, quietly beside every unnoticed step. The world around the character has not become quieter, kinder, or smaller. People still hurry toward distant dreams, and life continues with the same uncertain rhythm. Yet something gentle has changed within. They no longer feel the same need to prove that they deserve a place among everyone else. The quiet weight of comparison begins loosening its grip, replaced by a softer understanding that belonging does not always ask to be seen. Standing beneath the same wide sky, they notice they are no longer disappearing inside it. Without becoming larger, they simply begin feeling present, carrying a quiet sense of worth that asks for nothing except to exist. Hidden worth was never waiting somewhere far away. It had remained beside the character through every disappointment, every quiet comparison, and every season of doubt. The journey ends without triumph, only with a calmer heart. Nothing outside needed to change before something inside could soften. The vast world remains, but it no longer makes them feel small. They simply understand at last that their quiet existence has always carried meaning, even when they could not see it themselves. And that gentle realization becomes enough to walk forward with quiet hope, embracing each ordinary day with renewed kindness, patience, and peace.